podcast. Hello and welcome to MS Podcast. In today's podcast, we're going to be talking about inspiration. Yeah, let's have a conversation about inspiration. Let's light up the mode, the mood. Let's get started. So, inspiration, creativity. What makes us dream? What makes us experiencing or want to experience something new? I am actually going over YouTube because I'm listening a bunch of stuff on YouTube, very interesting stuff actually. And I came across Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza, which I like to listen to him. I'm a huge fan of Dr. Not Dwayne, Wayne Dyer. But Joe Dispenza, they're doing all of the same. When we talk similar things. We're talking the same, except we're speaking a different, we have a different way to present things, which is exactly the same thing. But he had something that I found it very interesting, actually, and I'm going to do it. Talking about, what was he talking about, actually? Oh, experience. What do you want to experience and what you don't want to experience? So, doing a list of what you don't want to experience first. So again, if you're in a relationship and you don't like the relationship you're in, then you maybe don't want to deal with people who are narcissists, selfish, self-absorbed, jealous, arrogant, be mistreated, whatever you don't want to. Same with work. And do your list of what you don't want to experience. Then look at the list and say, okay, this is not what I want to experience. So I'm setting up those boundaries and do another list of what you would like to experience. So it's learning in one way to how to reset our patterns, because it's easy to just wish. But in order to make things happen, you name it first. That's what you do on paper. And then you go and claim it, meaning you're going to go roll up your sleeves and do the work. If you don't want to have a bad experience or you don't want to experience any more of something, then what you're going to do, you're going to have to change your patterns. You're going to have to change the way you see things. You're going to have to start to set up your boundaries and really make them clear so people don't roll over you, cross them, and you feel like your patterns are like a cheese Swiss full of holes that nobody cares about. So I found it very interesting when I listened to him. It was a nice refresher actually a few days ago to listen to him because I was like, oh yeah, I did not even thought about this. I'm like, oh, that's a reminder. I should be doing this as well. So we always reminded, even though if you got the knowledge, you forget a few things along the way. And it's nice to be reminded. So I found it very interesting. And I'm like, okay, we're done with that new moon, which was a little iffy actually. I must say this one was a little weird, but also some others, planets were coming out of some, moving from one. I love my dogs. Not gonna cut this, but daddy, sit down, you're fine. Somebody is redoing some painting and stuff like that, and daddy decided to go crazy on that individual. Come on, daddy, just don't do that. You don't need to be on your crazy mode of defending the rest of the world. We are fine. Okay, sorry about that. And I'm keeping this. I'm not I'm not gonna make it studio stargazers. I will let my beautiful friend Jenner to do that, but on some of my podcasts, I leave it raw because that's life. That's how we roll here. It's more authentic in my view. So, and that's only my view, my perception, we're gonna call it. So being inspired, it's really resetting it up because we all have big dreams. The most impossible dreams can be possible if you put your mind into it. I know the most impossible dreams are possible to do if you put your mind into it. Again, you name it, you say what you would like to do, and then you do it. You're claiming it. If I go somewhere, it's like, I want to make it easy, playing at the lottery. Okay, I'm going to take my little piece of paper with my lottery piece of paper. It's like, okay, I'm going to put my number, okay, I'm naming it. Now I'm going to go claim it because I'm going to go into maybe a gas station here in the US I'm going to go and play. I'm going to pay the 5 or 15 or $20. I'm going to let it run into the machine. They're going to give me my tickets. Here we go. Name it. I claimed it. Those are my numbers. Okay? So we need to do the same with our own way to do things. We need to sometimes think outside of the box. That's what I like to look at some of the stuff on YouTube, because it gives you few things to think of. Like we're in spring, finally reaching spring. Here in where we are, still have some snow, so we're not down to thaw the snow. I'm sure there's gonna be some flooding going around here too, but it's finally the level of snow we are experiencing now. It's slowly but surely disappearing, which is awesome. The lakes are gonna be filled. We're gonna our water tables are gonna be full, which is great. Like the same in California. And so think about the springtime. It's going to come, then we're going to see the grass, or what looks like the grass is going to be brown first, and it's going to turn green. Then you're going to see the luscious of those beautiful flowers. Same thing here. It's like, okay, let's plant the seed and let's make things happen. Now, when you're looking at businesses, and I was talking with people, and I went to a networking event last week, and it was very interesting because I looked at someone's website, and the website was nice, except there were no call to actions. And it's like, yes, it is right here and right here. I'm like, no, your website is nice, but there is no visible call to action for people to really schedule something with you. It's like, that is cute and nice, but that does not do what you need. When we're looking at things we're doing, we have to adapt. And I'm talking with other businesses, and it's like, okay, you can have the best page, you can have the best idea for your marketing, but when you launch it, your idea or your keywords might not reach out to your prospects. Maybe those keywords are not the great one for the geographical location where you want to hit those prospects. So you're going to have to adapt. And in order to adapt, it's you launch it first. Then with the big word SEO, your analytics, you're going to start to look and see where it spikes, how high it says, and what, from the number of visits you've got, how many lead conversion you had. Like, how many people are going to step in and want to do this? How many people are going to move from just a prospect to a client? When we're doing things in our lives, innovation, inspiration, whatever you want to do, we have to start first with our goals. What is our goals? What is our intent? Yes, the magic word, intent. What do we want to accomplish? Being able to formulate it as well, because I've done enough interviews with clients that, if they want something, you need to be able to translate it. In order to do that, you need to understand what they're talking about. Because I can give you some sentences and you're going to assume something different than what I want. So in order to match each other, we're going to need to understand each other first. What do you want to do? What is your intent? What is the result you would like to see? And then go for it. Innovation, creations, looking at our lives, looking at what we've got, looking at the potential of what we can do and achieve comes from us. That inspiration comes from within us. The dreams, dream big. Continue to connect with your inner child. Continue to play. Continue to fantasize about your business, fantasize about goals. Maybe you want to go on vacations, and right here, right now, you maybe do not have the means for it. Then put it into the universe. I said that, and now that I'm saying this, I'm gonna reference of 2012 actually. My issue, and maybe others gonna relate to it, is I take vacation I used to, because I'm saying used to, I have to say, Daddy, sit down. Daddy, hey, sit down. I'm recording, sister. Stop being a pui pui. You're just a pui pui. Stop that. Sorry about that, guys. I'm like, this podcast, second podcast I'm recording, it's all about daddy. Maybe I should do a show about daddy. My kaka is like, I don't care. I'm on the bed enjoying my own self here. I don't care. So, back to the conversation. 2012. And some people like me, like I said earlier, might do what I've done. Maybe every decade, take vacation. I know. It's insane. Yes, I know. I am a workaholic. I recognize that. Maybe I should start my own club for that. But I have learned for the past few years to take maybe long weekends somewhere else in a different state, actually. And I've done that a few times, which has been nice. You don't have to go around the world or the globe to do that. However, thinking about it, I didn't had this in the budget anyhow anywhere because it wasn't part of what I wanted to accomplish right away. I'm looking at one of the dogs. What did you have in your mouth, Lulu? Then you eat. I have no idea what he has, but he chew on something. Who knows? That kid is. Sorry, guys. It's like I'm going sidetrack. It's like, Emma, back on track. All right, focus. So, 2012. I always wanted to go swim with the dolphin. All right, that's always been something I wanted to do. Dolphins are very healing, actually, but you cannot harass them in some of the places which I talk when they're in the wild. You should not be, and it's prohibited. It's against the law to here in the U.S. to go and harass them, which I totally agree with. Because I'm like, yeah, you don't want to harass the animals in the wild. So, but still, I had a dream that I always wanted to do that, and I don't know why. I think because I think I got inspired by Doreen Virtue, but I always related to dolphins with an S. And so, remember in 2012, I was talking that was Joel at that time, and he was actually living where I was working. I was reporting to him, and I said one day, it was in May, and I said to him, I'm going to go swim with the dolphin. His response is like, well, good for you because I'm going to go swim with the shark. I'm like, well, good luck with this one because I'm not going to follow up on this one with you when it comes down to the shark. Well, I said that in a candid way, and the universe heard this one. Came July, and if you've never received a letter from the IRS, because they don't normally, by the way, watch out for the scammers. They normally don't call you at all. They go by letters, snail mail. And the first thing they do, the IRS, is to threat the life out of you. They don't say, hey, by the way, you might not have, we don't see on your records that you have reported your income the year before, which I did, or 2 years before. That was a year before or something like that. And I'm like, what? I did. I report everything. So what are you talking about? But they threat the life out of you first, telling you, well, if you did not do it, you're going to pay, blah, blah, blah. You're going to have penalties. I'm like, well, that's a nice letter. It's like, it's a very welcoming letter. People, thank you so much to threat the life out of me. Because, this is the kind of letter you want to receive first. And just said, okay, people, I love you very much too. You need a group hug? I'm sure we can organize that for you people. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, this is weird because I've done mine. I did it electronically. And I'm like, well, that's weird. So, they asked me to give them a proof, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, fine, I'm going to send it to you by snail mail again. And I will show you that, yeah, I did mine. I reported it to you, blah, blah, blah. Then a few weeks later, I'm receiving a check out of the blue. And I'm like, oh, cool, yay. But before I said the end to do my little dance, I'm like, well, Emma, you better to verify if you receive anything. Because if you, cash it by accident, they could just go after your sorry rear end and make you pay 10,000 unfold, saying, well, you scammed them. I'm like, okay, I'm not cashing anything until I go to the bank and verify if it's true. Because I wanted to make sure it was true. So went to the bank, and guess what? We looked at it 2 to 3 times, and it looks like I never received it actually. So it happened that the electronic filing that I was supposed to do never went through, and that happened, you know, and I didn't verify it. I thought I received it, confirmation saying it was received when in fact it wasn't received. I never received it. So it wasn't done properly for some unknown reason. So I'm like, okay, cool. Cash the check, and I'm like, well, now I can go swim with the dolphins. So I had a couple of things I wanted first, which was, I think I needed a notebook actually, because I needed one. And I'm like, I'm going to go swim with the dolphin. And I did. So in November, I scheduled the time in November, and I had the choice to go to, what do you call it? Florida or Hawaii. And at that time, one of my cats, my Malu, was getting older, and I'm like, well, if since he had a lot of health issues, I was like, I'm gonna fly to Florida. It would be closer than if I spent 8 hours to fly to Hawaii. And I had a good time, and I finally make it happen. But it was very interesting the way it happened. Now, if you think about creativity, it's all in our mind. It's all how we see it. Because I said it, yeah, I'm gonna go swim with the dolphin. I named it. I did not have the means at that time because I did not put it into my schedule that I will spend the money, or I had the money already saved up, or that was a priority. I'm like, no, it's not. But it happened by way of perfect synchronicity. When you start with your goals, it's the same way. When you run your business and stuff like that, it is exactly the same way. It's way of perfect synchronicity. Asking yourself, okay, do I need help for something? Do I have the right person around me? Who can help me with this and that? And I don't know if you ever noticed that, but when you start to ask and said, well, this is what I will need. I need a person that can do this. I need to expand my business. I need to find a new suppliers that can really get me the raw material that I need. I need a partnership. I need some referrals. Things start to happen in a way that brings the universe into the game. We always said, and I was Dr. Joseph Murphy. Then I study a lot of his books because I was doing it as a kid without realizing I was doing it actually. How to set up your goals and visualizing and dreaming and really feeling it to the core. That's what I was doing. He said the same thing. We are our worst own enemies because we have a tendency to want to control everything. Part of the magic is where we are able and capable to invite people in our lives. Let the universe bring us the right people. I remember when I started my company, I knew how to do the foundation because I have done it for 22 decades. So I knew exactly what I needed because I not only learned but observed how businesses, billion-dollar company, million-dollar companies were working. What do you need as your foundation? And from the foundation, looking at everything else. So when I started mine, I'm like, okay, so I need to, register the company with the states. Then I'm like, okay, so I need my lawyer, I need my accountant, I need a software, I need a website, I need this, I need this, I need that. It's like, instead then going and like, oh my God, I have to do this and that. I'm like, okay, universe, how do we do this? Your problem, not mine. And things started to put themselves into perfect synchronicity. Finding the right people, right connections, everything. Opening my mouth in some retreat to, I know somebody who you can do build up your own website. They teach that, blah, blah, blah. It was all aligned without forcing it, without saying, well, what's going to do next or what I'm going to blah. No, not controlling everything. Let perfect synchronicity and the magic of the universe guiding you. I have seen in corporate too many times people who try to macro manage everything. forcing things that will never work. Like I call it, put a square into a round hole. Doesn't work. Instead, it's to invite the mystery of the world to put itself together. Dr. Joseph Murphy was always right when he said we are our own worst enemies because we want to control everything. Leave the magic. Leave perfect synchronicity works. Have you ever noticed on some of those days you feel like you're walking on water that things work so great? You're like, holy crap, if every day I could hop on that flow and think we work like that, I'm having the best time of my life every day. Things happen because you did not force it, but because the right timing, because the right people are around, or somebody say, well, I know somebody else who can help you. I know somebody I can refer to you for this. I know I have a solution for you, what you're looking at. You just had to open your mouth, communicate, and let things unfold the way it's supposed to be. There is, however, a few things that I've seen in projects that I worked in, that those projects were like, holy crap, it's worse than a birth here, people. From the first minute you got in, you had to hold the entire time the hands of everybody in order to get things done. So you got the projects with the right people, and you got projects with people who will interfere, will not work together, and you have to be the mediator in the middle. And you're like, holy crap, I need a cocktail at like 8 o'clock in the morning. I only started to work since 6, but by 8 I'm like, cocktail. Where is my pool boy here? We need a pool boy. Come on, people. I need my bartender here right now. We need a little cocktail. There is days like that. But when you remove all of the intentions of those individuals and let it open to work together, we create freaking miracles. That's why I like the agile world better than the waterfall. Waterfall, they tell you, go do this, and that, and you're done. It's like, oh boy. However, in the agile world, you are doing one thing, it's communication. Being open to communicate. And that is the best result you can ever see. I did a contract for a big company. It starts with a T, and there is another word start with an R. It's a media company, TNR. So you should figure it out on your own very quickly. And I love that company because I worked on some phenomenal teams. They were open to communication. Sitting down and said, well, sorry for the bad word, the shit hit the fan. What are we going to do? And not panicking, even though they had a ton of pressure coming up toward them. Sitting down, and I was in a room as a consulting person, and we had employees and consulting person. We're all sitting down. We're not that many actually sitting down in there. They were like, what are we doing? I'm like, well, okay. We can work, we can do this, and that. And I said, well, let's work this weekend. I said, I'm fine with that. And they were looking at me. I was like, hey, everything's going to be fine. They were like, she's crazy, but hey, let's believe in that. And we pulled it off. Then we thought we were done for 5 minutes. Then we had another huddle. And I'm like, yeah, we can do it. No worries. And we pulled it off. Why? Because of the communication. Because they let things happen in a way that instead than panicking and going crazy, they sat down with everybody and said, okay, we got a problem here. Who has a solution? I always said, when you got a team, instead than, you're cozy with your besties at work because there is more affinity, you have more affinity with specific people, let everybody talk. I worked and I used to manage teams, about 20 to 50 people. I have done that. You wouldn't never know I was running the team, actually. It was quite funny, actually, because some people thought there was other people running the team, and I'm like, no, they were not. I only needed to step in when I was needed for me to step in. But I will let everybody talk. Even the people I did not have an affinity with, because I knew somebody has a solution. And most of the time, it's the least expected one. Leave the room for the communication. Leave the room for people to come and talk. Solution comes because we come together. When I come and I work with a client, I bring questions, but I also try to bring solution to start the conversation. And I don't care if my solution is taking at the end of the day or if somebody else's. It starts the communication. It's not a race against each other. It's working together. When we remove our ego, mine has been removed a long time ago. Mine is quiet. But when everybody calm down and understand working together, we can accomplish more in a shorter time than trying to work in silo. Because silo used to work in 90s a lot, in the 80s. That's how things were working. Working in silos doesn't help a company. I know some people are ego-driven, then I want a title. Well, go buy one at the grocery stores or at the funny stores and bring it up and put yourself with a title. But when we remove this and we really open the floor for communication, you will accomplish more than you will ever believe. That's the difference. So think about the goals you got. If you want to accomplish your own goals, great. If you need to partner, then figure it out. And ask the universe. Ask and you shall receive. I have done things that I asked the universe and it's like, holy crap. And it came on my lap in the form of different ways, but the help always came. Leave the room for magic. And I don't care if you believe it or not. Leave the room for magic. Trying to control everything always backfires. It always does. Or it makes it harder because you're pushing something that doesn't work. When you let that creativity, when you let that magic come, you'll be surprised to realize that, hey, crap, things happen even better than I thought it would. And I've been amazed to work on some great projects that I would ever believe that I would have been purview to it. Amazing thing that I could not even do it in today's day, actually. They were like, holy crap. Opportunity of lifetime comes when you open your mind, when you're willing to learn, when you come with that open mind that brings everything. If you already have a pre-assumption of things, or I'm going to start then showing up and I'm going to do this, and that, you are narrowing down the possibility that what you can really do. And that's something a lot of people do not realize. When I worked for TR over there, I came with an open mind. I knew what was the job because I remember I got interviewed on a Thursday. By Friday, I got the offer. By Monday, I was working. I'm like, okay, cool, not a problem. But I'm like, I'm going to go there with an open mind. I knew what I was supposed to do, and it turned out totally different as well. That was awesome, actually. But I never came with a closed mind that, oh, I'm doing this, and that. Being flexible, being able to switch, stand, and adapt. Open mind. Came with a skill set, utilize my skill set, but my mind was open so I could hear what people needed. I could hear what was needed. I could hear what solution can bring. I could hear to open communication with others that really help that projects. So if you think about where you are and if you're struggling with stuff, open your mind. Let others say, because there's some, we always say the universe always communicates with us in a form of insight, or you can hear a conversation. Have you ever been somewhere and you ask a question for something and all of a sudden you may be at the register, checking out, waiting for somebody in the front of you, and all of a sudden you hear a conversation. It's like, oh, that was the answer I needed from me. It's like, holy crap. Amazing. Think about opening your mind and you will realize that your goals can be achieved if you let the universe play its game. Open your mind. Don't try to control everything. And I know it's hard. When you run a business, it's hard to just let it loose. But trust me, once in a while, it's nice to let it loose so you can get what you need as support, help, whatever is needed. So this was our podcast for today. Oh my goodness, close to 30 minutes. Woot. An interesting podcast for today. I have no idea what we're going to talk about our next podcast, but that's all right. Universe will always tell us. Not a problem with that. So think about what you want to do in your goals and get them rolling. There is nothing that should stop you, and I don't care how old you are. You can be 10 years old, you can be 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. Who gives a crap? Start to create, start to become your own CEO of your own world. Be the magician. Create something that is yours. Live your dreams, and your dreams will live with you if you name it. But you go and claim it, because naming it is awesome, but you have to claim it. You have to go get it, regardless of your outer condition, regardless of what's going on. Trust me, because I spend a lot of time to say, oh, but I don't have this, I don't have that. I'm like, yeah, well, those are a bunch of excuses that your ego is going to tell you, because it's fear based of the unknown, fear based of, oh my God, we're going to do something totally different. But it's so much more fun some days. Not every day, but it is so much more interesting. So, all my love, guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye now.